The pressure gauge failed without warning. A scalding wave of wort and shrapnel swallowed Ryusei whole. He woke to the stench of damp straw and sour rot. Low stone ceiling, thick air. This was not his lab.
What is this? It tastes like vinegar and dirt. No sanitation, no temperature control. How do people drink this?
Still alive, boy. Good. The rats will have less to eat. Now get up and scrub these barrels.
Scrubbing with cold water won't work. I need boiling water and a plan, but first, survive this woman.
In his former life, he'd been a chief brewmaster. Fermentation science was his religion. Here, it might be his salvation.
Give me 1 week, Marta. No pay. If I fail, throw me out with the slops.
1 week? You can barely lift a bucket. Waste your time. When you fail, don't expect sympathy.
He stoked a fire and boiled water in an old copper pot. First, sterilization, the invisible enemy of every brewer here.
This kingdom has never tasted real beer. I'll change that. Or die trying.
He boiled grain, scalded every tool, and scrubbed the cellar until the stone was raw.
Wild yeast is everywhere. Catch it before contamination. Clean jar, dark corner, patience.
That grain cost 3 days' profit. Waste it, and I'll throw you out tonight.
It's an investment. 2 days, then judge. If I fail, I leave quietly.
He set a bowl of sweet grain water in a corner, covered to keep out dust and interference.
Bubbles. Tiny bubbles. Carbon dioxide. Something alive is working. Now to collect it.
Bubbles. So does pond scum. You are chasing phantoms while my ale sours in the corner.
Your ale sours because of wild bacteria. This is one tame organism. Trust the evidence.
He skimmed the creamy foam and transferred it to a fresh batch of sterile grain water. The yeast was isolated.
Starter. Ready. Tomorrow, I brew. If this works, this kingdom tastes something new.
He mashed the grain, boiled the wort, and pitched his yeast into a sterilized vat. The wait began. When he unsealed the vat, the scent was clean and bready, with no hint of sour. He dipped a cup and lifted it to the light.
Crystal clear. Golden as sunrise. The foam holds like a crown. It's perfect.
He carried the cup upstairs and set it in front of Marta.
What is this? It looks like no ale I've ever seen. Holy. It's smooth, sweet, then bitter, but clean.
That's beer, and it won't sour tomorrow or the day after.
A regular shuffled in, drawn by the commotion. He eyed the golden cup with suspicion. He drank. His eyes widened. He slammed the empty cup down harder than coin on a bar. Word tore through the streets. By sundown, the tavern was a mob. Elbows on tables, voices demanding more.
1 vat isn't enough. Not nearly enough. How do I scale this up?
On the 3rd morning, a line of liveried servants from 4 noble houses stretched outside the tavern, each demanding whole barrels.
Marta, we need a real brewery. This cellar can't feed the city.
A brewery costs gold we don't have. Are you mad?
Invest the tavern's new profits. I'll double your coin in a season.
Double? Fine. But if you fail, I'll sell your bones for broth.
They leased a long-abandoned granary by the river, and Ryusei began brewing on a scale this kingdom had never seen. In the shadowy Brewers' Guild Hall, Master Brewer Gareth listened to a trembling apprentice's report about the new golden ale.
Clear beer, consistent taste, lies. The boy must be adding poison or something worse. If this spreads, our guild is finished. Find out everything about him.
Thus, the old guard began to circle the cellar boy, who had suddenly become a threat to centuries of tradition. At the new brewery, Ryusei trained every worker like soldiers for a war against filth.
Boil everything. Tools, hoses, your hands. Contamination is the enemy. A single dirty bucket sours the whole batch. They're learning. With standardized temperatures and my yeast strain, every barrel will taste identical. No more surprises.
He compiled a recipe book, precise as scripture, grain ratios, hop additions, fermentation times. Copies went to each brewer across the city. In a candlelit chamber of the Brewers' Guild, Gareth gathered his allies. The tables were empty of ale. Their ale.
Our trade is dying. That foreign boy's beer is on every noble's table. At this rate, we'll be beggars by winter. I've spoken to the inspector, but formal accusations need weight. We need evidence of corruption.
They pooled coins for a bribe, their faces bitter and desperate. The guild had never faced such a threat.
We'll prove his beer is unnatural. Magic or poison. The common folk will believe either if we say it loud enough.
And so the old guard lit the first fuse of a war they didn't know they'd already lost. At the estate of Lord Herrick, the first noble feast served Ryusei's beer. Crystal glasses clinked where wooden mugs once sat.
This is the clearest, most refreshing drink I have ever tasted. Who brews this?
Word of the king's delight rippled through the court. By sunset, a royal order arrived at Ryusei's brewery for a standing weekly delivery. Visiting the villages, Ryusei noticed children drinking his beer instead of river water. Fewer fell ill. Boiling killed what the eye could not see.
Boiled water plus alcohol. This beer is safer than any well. I am not just selling taste, I am saving lives.
In a back chamber of the Brewers' Guild, Gareth slid a heavy purse across the table to a man with a slicked-back smile.
Dangerous claims need evidence, Master Gareth. But for this weight, I can find some.
Just declare his beer unnatural. The crowd won't question the word of a royal inspector.
Inspector Corvin pocketed the bribe, his official seal hanging on his chest like a badge of irony. The trap was loaded, aimed at a brewer who had done nothing but make the world cleaner. Inspector Corvin strode into the brewery courtyard with the armed escort, official parchment held high like a blade.
Ryusei, by order of the crown, I charge your brew with unnatural corruption. This is a witch's craft, not honest ale.
Witchcraft. My beer is cleaner than the king's own water. What evidence do you bring?
Evidence? Your beer is too clear, too consistent. No natural ale behaves so. Cease production at once.
Word spread faster than spilled beer. A crowd thickened at the gates, faces torn between loyalty and superstition.
Then let the people judge. I demand a public hearing. Let me show my process before your crown.
A hearing? Very well. But if you fail to disprove the charge, you will hang for sorcery.
Ryusei accepted. The date was set in the town square, a proving ground for science or a gibbet for the accused.
Boiling, yeast, sanitation. It's not magic, it's science. I just have to show them.
Thus the stage was set for a confrontation that would determine not just one man's life, but the very definition of truth in a kingdom of shadows. The town square swarmed with thousands. Guild banners hung beside royal guards. King Aldrich sat high, his face a mask.
Look at this beer. Clear as glass. Honest ale clouds. It varies. This is no natural brew. It's witchery, and we know what the law demands.
Fear rippled through the crowd like wind over wheat. Some stepped back from Ryusei, making the sign against evil.
Clarity is not magic. It is the mark of proper brewing. I boil, I sanitize, I control the very air. There is no spell, only method.
Pretty words from a foreigner. Where's your proof? Show us this method, or confess your soul to the flames.
I will do more than speak. Let me bring my vat, my grain, my yeast, and a glass lens. Let the people watch and judge for themselves.
A bold request. The court will reconvene at noon. You will have your platform, Ryusei. Do not waste the kingdom's patience.
Corvin's smile tightened, a vein pulsing at his temple. He nodded grudgingly, but his eyes promised retribution. Workers rolled a great vat into the square, barrels of grain, a borrowed lens from the royal scholar. The stage transformed into a laboratory.
This is it. The science that ended my old life now has to save my new one.
Ryusei raised 2 tankards for all to see. One shimmered gold and clear as polished glass. The other was a swamp of murky brown.
This is my beer. Consistent because I control what goes in. That is Guild Ale. Each barrel a gamble. The difference is not a spell. It is science.
Science, a peasant's trick. You claim to tame tiny beasts no eye can see. Show them. Prove they exist.
Gladly. This lens magnifies 100-fold. Through it, you will see the yeast, the living creature that makes beer. I will show you.
He placed a droplet of his yeast culture under the lens and beckoned a sturdy-faced blacksmith to stare into the tiny glass.
Those round spheres. Yeast. Alive. Harmless. I keep them pure. The guild's ale is full of wild bacteria. That is why it sours.
Enough. You've bewitched the glass. This is deception, not proof. The whole crowd is fooled.
Then taste the proof, Inspector. Drink my beer. Then drink theirs. Let your own senses judge, or is the royal inspector afraid of a cup?
Corvin's hand twitched at his side, but he did not take the cup. A long, damning silence fell over the square.
One more push. Now, drink.
Ryusei lifted the golden tankard to his lips and drank deeply, holding the crowd's gaze. A merchant bellowed, "Drink it, Inspector. If it's natural, why do you fear?" But Corvin's fingers curled back. The tankard of foul ale sat untouched, a confession in wood. One after another, townsfolk pressed their eyes to the lens and pulled back, gasping at the tiny, bustling spheres, proof they could see. A young mother cried out, "I see them, tiny living things. He's telling the truth." The murmur turned to a roar. "Let him brew," someone cried, and the chant spread like fire in dry wheat.
This is falling apart. Order the guards to arrest him now.
Corvin raised his hand to summon the guards, but the crowd surged forward, a wall of bodies between him and Ryusei. King Aldrich leaned forward on his balcony, his hands steepled. In his eyes, the seed of a decision.
The crowd believes. But the king hasn't spoken. The guild still has teeth.
The crowd's fury pivoted from Ryusei to the guild banner, voices rising in a single, raw accusation.
You fools! This is the old way. Proven for centuries, he has poisoned your minds with tricks.
His words drowned in a roar of contempt. The guild banner swayed and dipped as its bearers retreated.
Guards, arrest the agitators. This is a royal order.
The guards looked at the sea of angry faces, then at Corvin. Their hands stayed still on their swords. King Aldrich leaned back from his balcony, his fingers steepled. A long, unreadable silence stretched from his seat.
The king hasn't moved. His silence is a blade held over all of us.
Corvin's authority evaporated. The crowd opened a path for him to retreat, and he stumbled through it, broken.
I have shown you living proof. Let this day be the first lesson. Cleanliness is not witchcraft. It is the foundation of a better brew. The people have spoken. But the guild charter isn't changed. The true fight is still ahead.
3 nights after the hearing, Ryusei opened his latest vat and smelled vinegar. The beer was foul.
This isn't natural contamination. Someone poured something in. Acid or spoiled yeast. They're not finished with me.
He found the evidence. A sticky smear of molasses at the tap, a substance no worker would use in this process.
Marta, someone poisoned this batch. The guild won't attack me openly now, but they'll destroy me from the shadows.
What will you do? Hire guards? Go to the king?
Number. I'll catch them myself. Tonight, I lay a trap.
After dark, he sprinkled a thin veil of flour across the cellar floor. No intruder could step without leaving a trail.
1 footprint. That's all I need. Then I'll have proof the guild can't deny.
Be careful, boy. You are not just fighting my barrels now. These men have killed their own ale for greed.
He blew out the lantern and waited in the heavy darkness, every creak of the old granary armoring his resolve. A soft scrape broke the silence. A figure crept into the cellar, his breath shallow and hurried. His boot hit the flour and slid. He crashed against a barrel, a strangled yelp escaping his throat.
Don't move.
The lantern flared, revealing a terrified young man with familiar features, a guild brewer's apprentice.
You are Gareth's nephew. What did you pour into my vat?
The boy broke. It was just old yeast. He said it would ruin the batch without a trace.
Old yeast. This is sabotage. Your uncle will answer for this.
He dragged the boy outside and called for the town watch. By dawn, a scribe took the confession in ink, but when questioned, Gareth only laughed. A boy's foolishness. Prove I ordered it.
He's too clever to slip, but this is the lever I needed. The guild trial will strip his mask.
The confession reached King Aldrich within the hour. His fist slammed the throne arm, a goblet clattering.
This feud ends now. I order a formal guild trial. Ryusei will show his methods. Gareth, you face the evidence.
I welcome it, Your Majesty. Let the guild judge my sanitation and science against their traditions.
Tradition demands proof. Let him drink his brew before the masters. If it's poison, he falls.
Gladly, I'll drink. Then I'll show you the yeast, the boil, the cleanliness. Let every master witness.
The trial was set for the full moon. The king would preside, and every brewer in the land was summoned. Ryusei returned to his brewery to prepare a demonstration that would change the kingdom's foundation.
I am betting my life on science again. This time, they need to see it, not just taste it.
Ryusei, the guild trial is no street hearing. What you show there becomes law. Do not fail.
He set to work, knowing the next brew would crown him or bury him. The days before the trial, Ryusei trained his workers like witnesses for a courtroom, drilling them on every detail.
Remember, you saw the boil, the yeast, the thermometer. Just tell them exactly what you observed.
In a dusty guild hall corner, Gareth slid a heavy purse toward a cluster of lesser masters.
A vote for tradition pays well. Ryusei's heresy will destroy us all.
That night, Ryusei paced before his vats, rehearsing every syllable he would speak. Across the city, the old master returned home, the purse unaccepted. Not all tradition could be bought.
If this fails, it's not just my life. It's the truth I brought from another world.
The guild hall doors swung open. Brewers from every corner of the kingdom filed in, their faces hard.
This trial will determine the future of brewing in my realm. Ryusei, present your case.
No, turning back now. Science versus superstition. Let the evidence speak. Masters, I brew with 3 principles. Boil water and equipment, control temperature, cultivate a single yeast strain.
His workers testified. The boil, the yeast, the endless scrubbing, a process no brewer here had seen. Gareth's nephew shuffled forward. Under the guild's glare, he confessed. Old yeast, ordered by Gareth.
Lies. The boy is coerced. This is a frame to destroy the guild.
This confession was signed before a royal scribe. Do you call the king's own officer a liar?
The guild masters stirred. Skepticism softened. One by one, they leaned forward.
Boiling kills invisible spoilers. Pure yeast yields predictable fermentation. It is not magic. It is science. It is the future.
Some older masters nodded. Others stared at the lens, their faith in the old ways shaken.
But tradition. The guild has survived centuries without this meddling.
The guild treasurer called for deliberation. The masters filed out, faces unreadable. Ryusei stood alone, his heart a drum. The heavy doors opened. The guild masters returned, and the treasurer held a parchment aloft. 37 for Ryusei, 12 against. The vote was cast.
The truth won. The long days of scrubbing and proof finally paid.
I decree sanitation and yeast control as law. Gareth, you are stripped. Corvin, to the dungeons.
No. The guild, my office. This can't be.
Guards dragged Corvin away, his uniform now a rag. Gareth stood rigid, then wrenched off his medallion and let it clatter. Outside the guild hall, word flew like wildfire. Children raised their mugs, taverns erupted in cheer. The king descended from the dais, his gaze locked on Ryusei.
The old guard is crushed, but the king's eyes hold a promise.
Ryusei bowed deeply, but King Aldrich gestured for him to stand.
Not yet, young brewer. Your triumph deserves more than a bow. Wait for me.
3 days later, the throne room blazed with banners. King Aldrich stood before the court, a circlet of woven barley in his hands.
Ryusei, your brewing has brought joy to my people. I name you Lord of Festivals.
He placed the wreath on Ryusei's head, and the court erupted in applause that shook the banners.
A lord from a cellar boy. I never dreamed this.
Then the king led him to the royal cellar, where the oldest cask of the kingdom rested in dusty silence.
Your science transformed my realm. Let this cask bear the only word worthy of your work.
He carved the letters deep into the ancient oak. Genius.
Genius. The word from my old world. Now it's here, in this new life.
Courtiers raised goblets of golden beer, and the hall echoed with a toast that shook the rafters.
I once died for beer. Now I live for it. This is my kingdom now.
The capital erupted in a festival, unlike any the kingdom had seen. Banners of barley and hops draped every street. Long tables groaned under bread, roast meat, and infinite flagons of golden beer. Ryusei walked among the people, his wreath still fresh, a simple apron over his lordly tunic.
This is what I wanted. Not power, but joy, and it's everywhere.
Farmers shared tales of healthier children. Their gratitude washed over him like a tide. At a table apart, old brewers sat in silence, their cups untouched, until one raised it, then nodded. Even Gareth, watching from the shadows of exile, turned away, but not before a grimace of acknowledgement.
The truth spread far enough to reach even him. That's enough for today.
The festival lasted 3 days. On the third, Ryusei stood on the great hall steps, tankard raised.
This kingdom was joyless. Now it's the festival kingdom, and I'll keep it that way.
In the festival's afterglow, King Aldrich granted Ryusei a royal brewhouse and an institute to teach the new science.
Let this be the Ryusei standard, sanitation and yeast control for every brewer in my realm.
From a cellar cot to a royal institute. I didn't just survive, I built a future.
Apprentices gathered from across the land, clutching slates, ready to learn the invisible secrets of fermentation. One quiet evening, Marta found him in the new brewhouse, 2 tankards of golden beer in her hands.
To the boy who scrubbed my barrels. Look at us now, a lord and a tavern keeper who can afford to rest.
To the woman who gave a stranger 1 week. I kept my promise, and then some. My knowledge is no longer mine alone. It's the kingdom's, and it'll only grow.
The king's proclamation echoed through every guild hall. The Ryusei standard became the law of the land.
I brought joy to a joyless kingdom, and it only took a little science and a lot of scrubbing.
As lanterns gilded the evening mist, the festival's roar softened to a contented murmur. Below, children chased paper boats in the gutter, their bellies full and cheeks rosy.
I once walked streets of concrete and glass. That life ended in a roar of steam and steel.
But the memory brought no ache, only a quiet gratitude for the path that had been forced upon him.
Now I walk streets of cobblestone and laughter. This is where I was always meant to stand.
He lifted his tankard to the city, a silent toast to the kingdom that had become his family. In the distance, The river reflected 1,000 golden lights, each one a hearth, each one a story.
They said a joyless kingdom couldn't change. I gave them clean beer, and they gave themselves a reason to smile.
And somewhere in the royal cellar, a cask bore a single word carved for all time.
Genius, maybe, but more than that, enough.
And in the royal cellar, the oldest cask bore a word carved for all time. Generations of brewers would pass it, and each would trace the letters with reverence. A young apprentice lit a lamp, the first of many who would learn the Ryusei standard. The Lord of Festivals brought joy to a kingdom, one clean pint at a time. The beer itself became the symbol of a new era. Every bubble a lesson, every sip a memory of a man who dared to believe in the invisible. From the highest lord to the humblest farmer, they all raised their glasses, and so the kingdom drank to joy, to a future built on truth, not fear. And the foam held, as perfect as the first day, a crown upon a golden world.